Hey, this is Brian from The Sleeping Elephant. Right now I'm going to review King, the Four-Layer Approach to Becoming the Strongest Version of Yourself by Elliot Hulse and Chris Barnard. I consider Elliot Hulse to be one of the top 3 YouTubers that I watch. I have seen all his videos on his Elliot Hulse channel, yet I have not seen many of the Strength Camp videos and interviews that he's done. Strength Camp is his other channel, which is more of a fitness perspective. The book currently is only available in paperback and cost me about $35 with shipping, which is very pricey compared to typical Kindle editions that costs about $9.99. However, this book comes with a 2-week King's Initiation Trial, which includes videos that you can learn from as well, that are ideas connected with this book. I don't mind paying this amount due to the fact that he provides so much value on YouTube, and all YouTube is for free. It is well worth this price. It is written in a direct text style and is written with Chris Barnard, who is a friend that he grew up with. Why do I connect with Elliot Hulse's work? Once you see a few videos on his channel, you'll see he's a great guy. He's a masculine figure on YouTube. He has a ton of virtues that he follows. He's got wild energy, he's very charismatic, and he has a spiritual side, which is very rare in the fitness community, where it's all about image and vanity and having that narcissistic personality of it being about yourself. The bigger, the better. He's also very smart. He reads, he's curious, he's always listening to wisdom, and he's one of those figures that, he's a great guy raising a solid family. He may not be perfect. He always takes time to take a step back and meditate and reflect on his life. He's not always talking loud and proud and dominating the conversation. He will allow you to talk. He's also got some cool, charismatic sayings and mantras like done. Yo, Elliot, breathe from your balls. Elliot said, what? As I said, he's got a huge spiritual side, and he's aware of chakras. He looks into Eastern ways, and he's all about his bioenergetics. Not just using your mind, also using movements to express yourself. He's a man's man. He's definitely not a conformist. The book is almost 2 books in one. The first half concerning nutrition and muscular strength, and the second being about energetic strength, a spiritual side, I would say, conveying an energy system within you. The last part being about life mastery. The second half of the book is what I consider the best to be explored and to digest. In terms of strength and nutrition, he talks about lifting, strength, core stability, and having good posture, as well as basic exercises working around injuries, how the mind, body, and spirit are connected, and typical other information you'll find in other books, such as nutrition, resistance, hormones, and chemical reactions in the body. Some things you can learn from this chapter are plyometrics, foam rolling, and how to keep your body from being too acidic, which takes magnesium and calcium from your connective tissue. Mainly these 2 sections are about doing exercises right, in his way. The last 2 sections, like I said before, are my favorite, the energetic strength and life mastery sections. This is mostly about the masculine spirit and understanding the reptilian part of your mind and how that is deeply ignored in the typical Western parts of the world. The mind is overrated, and that a lot of your energy is within your gut, brain, and these Eastern type of chakras that he explains in the book, meaning there's a fire chakra, the gut brain he calls it, the heart region is a spiritual, the 5th chakra is sound, and the 6th chakra is your vision and focus. 7th chakra is the thought, which is more of the mind, which is somewhat like the thinking and the science of how you think. The scientific understanding of the world, where the spiritual is where Elliot wants you to go into and not just think your way out of things. You have to move your body and take action. And this energy is trapped within you. And the reptilian part is all connected within your body. And in terms of the gut, you have instincts, you have intuition and balls, courage, and an inner wildness that is being repressed from the outside world, where rules are dominating conformity. And he does take note that most of the serotonin and dopamine that is released comes from your gut. And that's something to understand, that your mind somewhat limits you. And this energetic spirit is something really you have to find a way to express. Otherwise, you're a prisoner on your own mind. The last chapter, Life Mastery, is about having vision, duty, and a dharma. It's about being selfless, being generous, and not being a stingy lover. And in terms of this mastery, there's a great chapter on the hero's journey. I'm going to make another video on that in terms of a rite of passage for man that makes you a stronger person. And he goes in to talk about affirmations, how to solve the inner critic, how to think big, how to always progress going forward and not be trapped in your old ways, to achieve wisdom in life and achieve your own personal success. Some other things I like about Elliot is he's bold, he's aggressive, and wild. He lets loose, and one of the biggest things I really can connect with him is he understands vibrations. Is not to understand things through the visual, but to understand things through vibrations. I still have to check out his another book that he recommends highly in all his videos. It's called The King, Warrior, Magician, and Lover, and he uses this as ideals that you should pursue. Here's a look at one of his video clips.
You gotta breathe into your balls. You gotta breathe deeply into the roots of your manhood. It lies within your balls. Breathe deeper.
Here are a few things I don't like or not necessarily agree with Elliot. He should have came out with a Kindle edition, which is only $10. I know that would affect his profits. It's easy to read, easily to transfer. The book had a few issues in it. The ink is not exactly top-notch in the book. And I don't like reading from paperback. I would always like to read from digital. I only bought 2 books this year in terms of being paper. It's new technology nowadays. He recommends competition, and I don't really recommend competition. I think you could better yourself. And in terms of strongest version of yourself, I don't think you have to look at competition. I think you could push yourself. People just have to be put out in the woods, not so much being in a gym like him and all his fitness counterparts, lifting, almost, I would say, pointless bicep curls. I would rather go outdoors, go hiking, and be with nature. That's one of the things I get along with Elliot. I think you should go outdoors instead of just playing tennis. Also, I didn't know who was the actual writer of this book. There are 2 writers, but sometimes they use the first person, and it can get confusing of who is actually writing. Is it Chris Barnard or Elliot Hulse? Also, I don't agree with one of the quotes in there. It said something about fitness will crush your spirit, but I don't think it could crush your spirit. And he says going into nature is okay, but not going into the wild, you don't have to do, but I think it's important to do. I think that's a rite of passage to actually go into the wild, especially with now there's way an overabundance of emasculated hipsters that I think going into the wild is important. And he puts it as going into a cabin into the wild is okay. I think you have to go into the wild. I consider that soft. Here's a quick mind map of people that are around Elliot Hulse. To the left, you can see the RSD Nation, RSD Tyler with all his other RSD followers. And then you have Michael Sartain, who was trained under Mystery, and RSD Tyler, aka Owen Cook, is the apprentice of Mystery. Then you can see how these YouTube people are connected, where you have Tai Lopez, the Ferrari knowledge guy. You have Tai Lopez learning from other people in the YouTube community, such as Tyler, Elliot Hulse, and some of these other fitness people, as in Brandon Carter, Yahya, Bakkar, who I reviewed his book, and Frank Yang, a weird fitness guy that you can see online. And another guy that I've watch is James Swanwick. He has a podcast and a YouTube channel. He is the apprentice of Tai Lopez, and they're into business. And then you have Roosh V, who is connected with Brandon Carter in terms of this dynamic. So you can see how YouTube is creating tribes and how the YouTube network is going to grow. And this is for really the men's self-improvement industry, which you will see grow in the next 20 years because of how much masculinity is in the underground. This is just a quick diagram for connections. To close things off, I would really recommend this as a book to read. Despite the $35 price tag that I paid, it's well worth it. He has a lot to offer. You could always watch all his YouTube videos for free. I wouldn't really mind having lunch with him. It costs $1,000 to have like a mastermind with him, but that's very affordable. For a guy that's provided a ton of value for men, I think it's well worth it. And he's a guy that's putting himself out there. You got to respect a guy with balls.
It lies within your balls.
The world would be a much better place with more men. I will be doing another review of this book in the next few months, talking about the rite of passage and the hero's journey. You can check out these other books that I haven't read yet, or partially. Here's a list of them. Iron John, a book about men by Robert Bly. The Power of Myth, The Hero with 1,000 Faces, The Hero's Journey, all by Joseph Campbell. The King, Warrior, Magician, and Lover, Rediscovering the Archetypes of the Mature Masculine. That's by Robert Moore. And Fire in the Belly on Being a Man by Sam Keane. Also, check out one of my favorite videos by Elliot. It's called The Brain Slave No More, and where he's explaining all this energy trapped inside you that you're not even aware of, that at some point needs release. and it's okay to express yourself. So thanks for listening.